11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every day at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 4 Pacific for about an hour or 90 minutes every day. We talk about 3 gun-related topics every day, different topics throughout the week, and we run it live on YouTube. We simulcast it. We embed it over at gunchannels.com, so we're watching the live comments from everybody that's watching us live over on Gun Channels, also at YouTube. When it's all over, we'll take the audio from this show and we'll turn it into a podcast over at iTunes. So we encourage anybody that's listening to the show now or in the future to leave us some feedback on whatever platform you're listening on. It does 2 things. It lets us know where you are, which is always good for us. And then it helps recommend the show to more people, get more listeners. And that's, of course, a goal for the show. So we thank you for that favor, and we really do appreciate it. That's why we mention it at the beginning of the show every single day. We are trying to, get a larger audience and grow the show, and your help will assist with that. We have a bunch of hosts, a bunch of guest hosts today as well. So let's just start from my left to my right. We got Daniel jumping in from Illinois. Thanks for joining.
Glad to be here.
That'll bring us to Z in the island of Maui. Thanks for joining.
Aloha.
And we got Jimmy jumping in from Phoenix, AZ.
Hey, all. Thanks for the invite.
You bet. Thanks for jumping in. And then we got Smeggy jumping in from Michigan, I think, probably.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
And then we got Heavy jumping in from California.
What's up?
And
Thanks
I'm
for
in
the invite.
You bet. So we had some of these guys on for a pre-show discussion and invited them to stick around for the show. We are on episode 258. Today we'll be talking about CCW, specifically crossing state lines. So we have a lot of states represented here. We've got entertainment subject today, shooting sports. And then, of course, our tactical quiz that we have every Wednesday. Anytime during the day, we could have our tactical pop quiz. So we got that to look forward to, as well as our gun of the day in the gun shop and all the other things that we hit on a daily basis. Before we dig into all that, we usually take a break to see if anything happened overnight, though. Anything worth talking about?
Not that I
High
know
winds
of.
and rainstorm. Flash flooding alerts.
I know there was the Trump speech thing, but I didn't watch it. I don't know.
It was awesome.
Okay, there you go. That answers that.
It actually, I thought it was the closest thing to presidential speech that I think he's given thus far.
His speeches are definitely improving. I will say that.
Yeah.
He tried to put the olive branch out across the aisle. I don't even know 5, 6, 7, 10 times during the speech, and they were just a bunch of. I'm not going to start swearing. Let's just say they were uncooperative and unfeeling and stuff like that.
So,
but it was a good speech.
This was the president's address to Congress or something?
Yes.
And then I did not see it. Are you saying it's worth watching it?
Man, you like freedom, right, G-Webs? You rely on freedom for your everyday, living and stuff like that. So I might say there might be some onion cutting ninjas, though, so look out. There's some feels going on here and there with some of the people that they brought forward and stuff like that, and I don't know. Maybe take the cliff notes, but I enjoyed it, and I caught it after we were done with the show, and I just tuned in and watched the rest of the live stream, so I don't even know really what I ended up missing. I just watched it till the end. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyable in my opinion. But I'm drinking the Kool-Aid right now too, so. As far as anything else happening yesterday, unsure.
Had a couple of shows on last night. Big Gunner had a girls only show. It was pretty good. You guys had hit or miss. I caught the end of that. It was pretty good. Andalusia Armory was on our show. I guess people heard that, but maybe they were watching Andalusia Armory instead. We had them on as a guest last night.
Actually, I was here for maybe the first minute or two where they were here. So how did that, as kind of a mini review, how things roll with that?
Pretty good.
They're great.
It's pretty fun. In fact, we learned that the owner of the shop originally had a shop in New York and then moved down there. So he's going to come back on next week when we talk about New York on Tuesday as our featured state.
New York City?
Well, no.
New York City.
Get a
New
room.
York State. And he was an FFL, so he'll have some insight to what it's like to be an FFL, and then specifically in New York.
Yeah, it'll be good if he's able to make it for sure.
All right. Well, I see Bob out there floating around. So if he can figure out how to click on the two giant ass links that are in the spreadsheet, we'll see Bob over here.
They're too big.
And then realize he's not supposed to eat the microphone before he speaks.
We got one update saying gun channel's not working. I might suggest to anybody that can hear me just refresh and try again. And if there is anything that we can,
if they need not working that we hadn't posted the new show over there, then we'll post the new show over there. But,
well, I was just about to say refresh, and we'll try and work on it if we can fix it. Okay.
there's nothing to fix, is what I'm saying. So just want to.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to get the information out there, man.
I hear you. I'm trying to get accurate information. There's nothing broken. The way they could have accurately said was that it's not the new show. We didn't post the new show over there.
Fair enough.
Now it's posted, and yeah, refresh. Thanks. So otherwise, yeah, head over to YouTube. Fine. We're digging into CCW. So crossing state lines. Where do we want to take this one?
How many people on the panel have crossed state lines with their CCW?
I have.
I have.
I have not. I've crossed state lines with my ID though, and it's constitutional over here.
Although I certainly don't have the record number of states as somebody else does at the other end of the panel.
Right, and I will also say, not having a CCW, I have not crossed any state lines with a CCW.
I'm gonna have to agree with Z on that one.
But I think I've carried in, besides my own state, an additional 5 states.
And G-Webs is, we know G-Webs. We know G-Webs is cross state lines for sure.
Yeah. So we tried to document it in 12 when we went to 17 states. Every time it got to be too much though, because we were crossing state lines in the middle of the night and stuff, and sometimes in a hurry. But we had started out to do a quick talk about what the different states are. At that time, we had an app on the phone that I don't even know if it's still around anymore. And it was, even then, they're not 100% accurate. There's too many changes done at the state level that most of the apps don't update, daily or anything. Maybe they'll update occasionally every couple of months or something. So we found a couple problems with the app, but basically you type in what CCWs you have and then what state you're going into, and then it tells you whatever the situation is that applies. Like your so-and-so CCW will cover you for carry and open carry in this state, or it'll carry you for open carry but not this, or whatever. So that's what we used, and then we verified with going online and just checking a few websites. And that's how we figured out that the app was wrong a couple of times. But yeah, it can be pretty frustrating. So that's the first step, is to have resources to know what the laws are, the current laws are. Your best one is just the Department of, whatever the state's Department of Safety or whatever it is that's tasked. Might be the state sheriff or something, state police, I guess. They're tasked with doing the CCW, because then they'll have the current reciprocity and links to their actual laws. But having a book is handy. We always talk about the Traveler's Guide to the 50 States. It's a published, book. So having that with you, even if it isn't accurate because something's changed in the months since it's been published or something, at least you've shown due diligence. And although it's not a get out of jail free card, at least you can say, hey, to the best of my ability, I thought I was doing everything right. I'm abided by the 1986 Firearms Travelers Protection Act or whatever it is. And, I've got the thing in this state, based, in this condition, based on what I thought your state rules were. So that's something that we use as like our potential default. But where we were traveling, there was only a few states where we had to basically disarm and put our guns up.
It's not like you're going through New Jersey, like the poor lady did that got lucky and that charges got dropped and pardoned and everything like that, because apparently that is not the norm for New Jersey.
after she spent time in jail.
So yeah, I'd agree with you, G.
Yeah,
It's
the-
that
yeah, the
you
charges
weren't
didn't
necessarily
get
putting it
dropped,
too
technically.
bad of a test, which is good on your travels. You know, I mean, the level of consequences aren't quite as high as you are now a felon and you're going to get up to 10 years in prison, which is good.
But the point that G-Web's made about checking, double, triple checking your resources is absolutely correct. Because I found just 6 months ago when I went to Oklahoma, and I went and did some checks, is a number of websites still had Illinois listed as a non-carry state, and that's been over 2 years. So that was my big obvious, you know, and if they're wrong on that, what else are they wrong on that I might not be aware of?
Well, so it's not even double and triple check. It's use multiple resources also, like you were saying, whether it was the book or the website, multiple different websites and everything like that. Because ultimately, the responsibility is on the carrier itself. It's not on the state to make sure that you know. And some can care and some can, you know, maybe let you off with a warning or understand or what have you. But
because even with the website or a book, ignorance is no excuse.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in this case. But you got to go off of something.
Well, and here's the honest answer, though, too, Dano. Some people may try and use ignorance as the excuse, but that doesn't necessarily mean that may be the reason, but that's not necessarily going to be excusable.
True.
Right?
Yep.
Like, I mean, some people that come from a foreign country and then think that they're going to be able to conceal carry in a different country.
You
that
mean
may
like Northerners, perhaps?
Well, you know, I don't know. Somewhere where they can probably own a gun legally, and then go to a different country with that gun, and then think that they may be able to conceal carry legally. I'm not sure what the rules are on that, but boy, would I be checking as many resources as I could find on that one.
Now, the one thing I haven't done is you know, done it, you know, traveled, you know, with my firearm packed away properly on a plane, and quite frankly, it really kind of intimidates me, quite frankly. Even
Dude, I'm telling you right now, dude, Daniel, it's one of the easiest things there is, honestly. Honestly.
I agree. I've actually done it before too. I've flown from California to New Hampshire and back. So it's not a hard thing. You put your firearms into a lockable container that you can lock with a padlock. You first call the airport, find out what their airport policy is on it. Go to their place, you check it in, you open it up, they verify the gun, you verify it's there, you shut it, you close it, you lock it. They give you they check it in, they give you a stub, you got your ID, you fly. When you get there, you go to the other secured location for getting I guess secured items, whatever. You show them your ID and your stub, they bring you your bag. You open it, you check it, make sure everything's there, all that good shit.
So
I will say that not all require you to check it at the airport, and I will also say that I have, when I've traveled to Texas, it gets walked to me, so to speak, in a different area, like you're talking about, Heavy. But I can also say that I've never opened it back up in the airport upon picking it up, and maybe I should or maybe I shouldn't have. That I'm unaware of. I just knew that it was one of those things where if they're not telling me to open it, I will open it up and come back if that's an issue. But just opening it up in the airport, I wasn't sure about the law to land on that.
Well, okay, at least for me, when I did it, was you handed it over to them. They open it, verify there's something there. You know,
yes.
What's there. Yep. Then you close it, you lock it up, you keep the key.
Yep.
They tag it, they give you a receipt. When you get there, they bring it to you, go to the area, they pull it out, and then you open it up again to verify everything is still in there to make sure you weren't robbed. That way, when you leave and you go to open it up and it's not there, you can't go in there and say, hey.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
No,
and it covers them and you at the same time.
Do you have to pay for additional insurance in case it is missing when you get there? Or is that part of the deal?
I think
I
it's
usually
part of the deal.
get
I don't
trip. I have usually trip insurance, and then from the airline, I'll usually insure it as well.
Yeah, like it's. I think
But I mean, that's
it goes in through the
technically
rest of
so.
your
If we're
life.
talking crossing state lines that way, you know, I mean, you're crossing multiple, but it's then it's either you need to know the layover state. You know what I'm saying? Whatever state the layover is in. Not that you're usually going to pull your checked luggage out at the layover, but if for some reason the plane breaks down and you have to catch another flight, and or if it ends up being the next day, and all of those types of things. That was the story out of the guy in New York, or actually that might have been New Jersey again. The guy brought there was some problem. He brought his firearm with him that technically was illegal in the state of either New Jersey or New York. And the problem is that he, instead of leaving it in the checked baggage area or the locked secure area, he brought it out of that area and then proceeded, I think, to go to the hotel or something to that effect. And that is where he got in trouble, that it's not illegal to travel through the state as long as you leave it in the secured area at the airport.
Yeah, but if it was like a handgun case or something and it's in his suitcase, I could see why he would want to take his suitcase because he needs his clothes and shit for the next day.
I understand that, but that's also why we're talking about knowing the rules of the place that you're going to and through.
Right. Risk
Right.
versus
And that's something I did want to mention. I know you guys
Because getting a new set of clothes is a lot cheaper
than getting out of jail.
Yeah. But you were saying, Smegs?
Yeah. I know you're saying double check the websites and stuff, but I just want to throw out there for anyone who's not familiar, handgunlaw.us, I think is what it's called. Maybe I should have double checked before I just said that, but it's a very good resource for, seeing what other state laws are. Because that's the thing that not only do you need to know if your state has reciprocity with a certain state, you need to know, do they have rules about, duty to inform, right? Because some states you have to, tell an officer if you get pulled over for speeding or something. In other places, you have to answer if they ask, but you don't have to volunteer it.
Such as, this is what we discussed yesterday, Alaska has a duty to inform.
Yeah, handgunlaw.us, that's the one I was thinking of. It seems to be a very good resource, and from what I can tell, it's up to date. What I like about it is when it's in almost like a question and answer form. Like the title will be, carry in a bar, and then it'll either say yes or no, and then there's always a little link, 27.58. blah blah blah, and you click on that, it takes you to the state's actual website, and it's the actual like law or the bill or whatever. Like it's all in legal speak, so you can read it for yourself as well. So I find that to be pretty nice. But yeah, it's just something. Those are the types of things to be aware of. Is if there are different, not no carry places, or like I said, duty to inform is a big one. What else would there be? I can't think of what else you would need to.
Reciprocity changes almost every year, as far as more and more states allowing other states citizens to carry in their state, and that's something that is not necessarily always updated in a timely basis.
Room test,
because it may be changed in one state in July and in another state in January.
Roomtastic on the YouTube side also added that he uses an app called CCW that is constantly updated to check when he travels to states that he's not familiar with. So if there is an app out there and he thinks it's called CCW, that might be another nice. And he says also that the app that he had mentioned does mention all the stuff that Smeggy was just talking about as well. So there's another resource to be able to be utilized. And again, like we had mentioned several times already, anybody out there listening to us, we're not lawyers. We're not trying to help get you in trouble. But you know what? We're probably also not going to be there to bail you out. No offense to anybody out there. So please do your due diligence. look up through multiple resources, whether that's a book, a website, a video, whatever. Please do that.
Yeah, and I think the most important things to know about from the state, going from list of importance to not, is do you actually have reciprocity with that state? And then duty to inform, like gun-free zones, and then
Well, like you said, can't carry it into a place that does a certain percentage of alcohol business over food, i.e. a bar.
right, yeah, and that's the thing. Different state, like in some places, like Applebee's is considered a bar because they have a liquor license or whatever. But if you
Well, they
sit in the
made
booth, you're okay. But if you sit like up at the actual bar, you're not. I've heard of that before. Other states,
well, in some states, it'll
something like
literally
that's
be
fine.
the percentage of alcohol sales. Like you could technically be in a restaurant, but if it's like it's it's a regular restaurant all week long, but Friday, Saturday, and maybe Monday night or whatever, they crank it up where they're serving that much more booze than food on those nights. Like their average, it might end up being that it falls over that percentage. In some
Yeah.
states, it literally is a percentage, which of
I've
alcohol
heard
to food.
like the 51% rule.
Yep.
But I always found that odd because it's like when you walk into a restaurant, can you be like, yeah, excuse me, can I see your books, please? Like, what is your profit margin on food? Like,
Well, which is ridiculous.
how are you
Truly,
supposed to know if it's 51% or not?
truly, especially if you're not used to that area, right? So, like, did you TripAdvisor or Yelp it? And then at the same time, it's probably not going to tell you the percentage. It's one thing if it is a franchise. Like if you can kind of look. You said look up Applebee's, look up Chili's, look up Dave and Buster's. Something like that. And
that's where it's going to vary by state again. As an example,
truly.
that 51% in my state of Illinois is if a restaurant that happens to serve alcohol does pierce the 51% level, they have to put that sign that we have, our sign, on the entrance to the building as you walk in, on all entrances to the building, front and back, including the employees. If they don't, then they're not required to, although they still have that option.
Oh, and that's the other one I was going to mention when I was doing my list. The other, I think, important thing is do no gun signs carry the weight of law? Because in some places, the hardware store has a no gun sign on the door, and let's say you ignore it. In some places, if they happen to see it, which they probably won't, and they go, hey, you can't have that here, and you leave, no harm, no foul. Other places, just by walking past that sign, you've at least done a misdemeanor.
It's criminal trespass, like straight out the gate.
Right.
Whereas the other,
so that's something to be. I know in Michigan, they have to ask you to leave, and if you refuse to, then you're trespassing. But I see those signs all the time and go, "Oh, that's funny."
In Illinois, if you're convicted, it's minimum 1 year in jail.
Well, again, I think that also changes state to state because although it may be,
that's why I mentioned it.
Well, even the weight of law for some of the other states, it might not be exactly that as well. But you don't want that. That's just hassle.
Right, and I almost think just CCWing in other states might almost even be like more important. Now I know you can't tell when something's going to happen. I think we all agree with that. But you're more likely to find yourself in a neighborhood you're not used to if you're in a different state. Whereas like my area, I know the nice areas, I know the bad areas. I understand something could happen anywhere, but I know where there's a higher percentage of something happening versus the next block over. And that's just how we are. I mean, you go a mile up the road and you're in, the danger zone. You go a mile past that and you're fine again. So it's just kind of interesting. But when you're out of state, you don't know, you don't
like,
really know those areas until you're in them.
Yeah. And usually by that time, I'm not saying it's too late or anything, but you may already be in the situation when it's time to realize, oh, this really isn't where I want to be. But, okay, so if we're talking CCW, we're talking crossing state lines. Again, it seems like we're hammering on the rules, the laws, because honestly, other than that, it's not a big deal, in my opinion. I mean, right? Just like
Correct.
Heavy and I were talking about traveling on an airline way, as long as you know the rules and you follow the rules, it's easy. So, yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure if we are going to add any more to the crossing state lines with CCW, or are we just going to reiterate the same points?
I want to throw one thing out there, simply because NFA items are not allowed at all in my state. But crossing state lines, other than Illinois, with an NFA item.
Well, that's not necessarily CCW unless you're talking about concealed carrying any other weapon, I guess.
Okay.
Well, with that, it's my understanding, and I'm not an expert in NFA, but I think if you want to take an NFA item outside the state, you have to inform the ATF. Like, you just have to give them notice to be like, hey, I'm going to Wyoming. See ya.
Right.
And then you're okay.
But if you're crossing through a state where NFA items are not allowed, period, with or without a federal letter, and you want to put it in Ruger 1022, your silencer, because you want to just go, you're looking for some rabbits or something, whatever, but you got to cross through an unfriendly state. Since I'm in a non-NFA state, I have no idea how that works.
Well, here's the deal with that. I believe with that 86 law, that allows you to travel through the state with it, but not to be in the state with it. You know what I'm saying? So
okay.
So as long as you are in the transiting through
wisely,
so
right, you can't stay in a hotel.
So if somebody's going from the tip of Kentucky to Wisconsin, Illinois is just under 600 miles long. They cannot stop except for maybe gasoline. Is that what you're saying, or?
Well, again, not a lawyer, so I'm not even sure if they can, like you said, stop, rest at hotel or whatnot. Again, I'm not 100% sure on that. Not a lawyer, but that would definitely be one of the things that I would check into if I was worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, because I was under the impression that if you're traveling through, as long as you're not staying.
Well, and so technically, like they were just saying, Heavy, what if you're staying overnight on a waypoint? Basically,
staying overnight and staying overnight at the waypoint, I think, yeah. From what I understand, it counts. That's part of the interstate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it does count, and I think that would get you in trouble.
But no, I think it does not get you in trouble, but you'd have a hell of a time explaining it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like I think that the potential for trouble is there. I would probably err more on the side of caution.
Does it need to stay in the car with the paperwork?
No, it would stay in your possession as far as
I
know.
in your possession. I don't know that I would leave it in the car. Because when I travel, I don't leave shit in the car.
Well, I normally don't either. Just again, I have zero experience with that sort of stuff, and let alone traveling with it. Yet I know there are lots of people out there in real free states that actually have that as a possibility in their life.
Well, like, what if you were traveling from Arizona up to Washington or something like that, and you travel the length of California? That's going to take you more the time than
right.
So, man, I just don't know. I just don't know. And I'd hate to give somebody the wrong information, especially on something like that, because then that's something that potentially alters their life.
Well, if you have NFA items, which I believe what Dana was talking about, you would have to notify the ATF that you're going to a location and what you're going to be doing. I don't know if that includes travel plans or not. So somebody who's familiar with that might want to chime in on that.
Maybe it helps you on the back end when you're in court, but does that necessarily not get you into the point of going to court and being arrested and such like that beforehand? Like, because that your little letter from the ATF and an acknowledgement or whatever of you traveling, right? Because we all know you don't try the court case in the street with the officer. He's there to enforce the law. He's not there to judge or anything like that. He's not there to prosecute the case. So I think that there's the potential then you could have any letter saying from Elvis Presley or Jesus, perhaps.
Well, I think
and that might not make an effect actually until you actually go to court for it, which means you will technically be arrested in the interim time and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I think in a situation like that, it's more becomes on the officer and the spirit of the law. Like if you're being a jackass and the cops have to get, are called.
What if you're a nice guy and you're a serial killer, though?
I'm getting to that.
Okay, sorry.
A nice guy and a serial killer is not going to give a fuck about the laws either way. He's a serial killer, or she. Don't want to be racist or sexist. But if you're just an honest, law-abiding person and you're traveling with your NFA items from one place to another, over for speeding or whatever, or your turn signals out or something like that, and then you let the officer know, you show him your letter, and you're cool. The officer's going to be like, okay, cool. Everything seems legit. Most likely that's what they're going to do because you seem like a cool person, especially if you come up clean. You got nothing on your background. If you say you're traveling through, you go to a bar, you get a little rowdy, get into a fight, and the cops show up and then they fucking search your room or whatever, then that's going to be, another situation. Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, then you probably have to worry about it. But most of the time,
Squib makes a valid point out there, and see if you agree with me on this, Heavy. Squibload out there says cops don't know what the NFA is. Now, I think that's a broad generalization, but I'm also going to be inclined to agree that there is going to be a certain percentage of law enforcement officers that are, whether they're unfamiliar with what the NFA is or what the actual laws of the NFA, or the rules of the NFA laws are. So,
yeah, but then again, they also do know what the ATF is, and if you have a letter from them saying that they have been informed that you're going from this place to this place for this reason,
boy, I ain't never seen none of them letters from that their ATF there. I don't know what they're talking about.
Nah, in today's day and age, you ain't gonna run into cops like that.
Okay.
I mean, everybody knows who the ATF is. I mean, even anti-gunners know who the ATF is.
It's not about not knowing who they are. It's about who runs my county. Sort of.
Again, I mean, unless you run into, the odds of that happen. For one, the odds of that happening, if you're following the laws and all that stuff, the chances.
Hey man, I watched Easy Rider. I know what it's like to travel across country.
The chances of you actually having a
run-in
fucking interaction with the police is very, very little. And if you're cool and you're legit, if you do have an interaction, most likely, and you have all your proper paperwork and all that good stuff, the likelihood is you're going to get kicked. They're going to say, get the hell out of here. Whatever. Just fix your tail or whatever.
There are areas, and not all of them are necessarily rural, which is the accent I think Z was shooting for. Some of them are big city, and I'll use the city of Chicago because it's the one I know, where they don't like other agencies, three-letter agencies, coming into their city and trying to tell them how to run their town, and they like to run things their way.
Understood, but at the same time, you're not actually the three-letter agency coming through telling them what to do. You're just a person with a letter from the three-letter agency,
right. and
they're most likely they're gonna go, yeah, we don't like it. We're gonna keep an eye on you, but get the fuck out of here, because they know if you have the proper paperwork, especially in a big city like Chicago. They know they're going to have to deal with the consequences.
What if your name's John Rambo and you're just trying to pass through town, Heavy? What if your name's John Rambo and you're just trying to pass through the town?
Well, if John Rambo didn't dress like a bum, had a haircut, and fucking was, not acting like a dickhead, which he wasn't actually. So, but, I mean,
yeah,
the cop would have been like, who are you here for? I'm here to see this person. And,
just passing through.
Yeah,
exactly. Thank you, Angry American. They drew first blood, not me. Just saying. Just saying.
I mean, there. You have the right to be, to keep shit to yourself and all that. But I mean, if you're just passing through to go visit somebody, just say that. And and if having long hair during the time where in an area where they didn't want long-haired people around,
Long-haired freaky people need not apply.
Exactly.
So you just tuck your hair up under your head and you went in to ask him why?
Exactly.
At this point, we're pretty far from crossing state lines. We're into a pretty in-depth NFA thing that we don't really know anything about. There's a form that you fill out when you have an NFA registered firearm to the ATF, and you let them know where you're going to be taking it. It doesn't apply to AOWs. It doesn't apply to suppressors, but for the other registered items, it would. So if you're an individual with a transferable registered item, full auto or big bore or whatever it might be, you're going to have this form. And I suspect that, again, I'm not a person who has had to deal with this, but I suspect having that form from the ATF that gives you permission to travel, you're authorized to own the firearm. I suspect you could probably get through some of those states, but I also suspect that people would be better off, if possible, to get around some of those states, except for California and Illinois, which are right in the middle or big. A lot of those other states, you can just drive around them, literally. We also aren't talking about FFLs, who probably are not applicable, but a lot of the NFA stuff is going to be traveled, or this traveling is going to be by FFLs. So it might not even apply, is what I guess I'm saying. There's not enough people out there with NFA stuff that the laws are actually going to affect. Anyway, I'm going to say let's keep going. We're already way past the 20-minute mark for that segment. We haven't even talked about the first, or we haven't even gotten into the second segment of the show.
So is it important to bring windbreakers with you when you go to different states? I feel like it is.
Always in a different change of socks.
It's the Germans. No, it's the Soviets. Who the hell is it? It's just, It's time for the tactical pop quiz of the day. And I know you've all been waiting patiently. So those of you over on YouTube, loosen up your fingers, put your cursor down the box, get ready to type your answer. Those of you over on gun channels, do the same. You know the routine. My official, have you seen the answer? And more importantly, have you seen the question? Or just as importantly, have you seen the question?
The question that we did like 2 days ago or something?
No, that was a different
No.
question.
I swear we just did that one.
Nope.
Okay, never mind.
No.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yes, Dano. Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. The question is as follows, and I shall read it twice. And no, this is not the same question. Thunder Ranch training site was created by who? Thunder Ranch training site was created by who?
Because the one the other day was
It's not
gun site.
Dr.
This is Thunder Ranch.
Yeah. Yes. It was not Dr. McGillicuddy.
Jeff Cooper is wrong. He did create Gunsight, or he was part of the creator of Gunsight. Cooper again is wrong, gentlemen.
Different school.
Different school. Night Strike is wrong. You just wanted me to say that.
That doesn't it just sound good? Night Strike is wrong.
Oh, winner chicken dinner with Too Hottie, followed by Rick Mitchell on the other, but it was Too Hottie.
Too Hottie, congratulations. You're today's tactical pop quiz winner. Head on over to dailygunchannels.com/pop-quiz. Fill out the form. Make sure you put your first, second, and third choice for a prize. And congratulations.
And the answer
You
is
are today's
Clint
winner.
Smith.
Yes. So it wasn't Dr. McGillicuddy. It was Clint Smith.
And so Too Hottie, that makes you the tactical pop quiz hot shot for today. Good job. Way to make it happen. I'm sorry, what, G?
On channel side?
Gun channel side, yes. He was before the YouTube side. Rick was a close second.
All right, so that was our daily tactical pop quiz. We're going to be heading into the entertainment segment of the Wednesday show. Today we're going to talk about shooting sports as entertainment. But before we break into that, we like to pause between the first and second segment of the show each day to feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. Gun Channels is a place we built a while back. It's a community focused on firearms, built by shooters, for shooters. So it's all gun related. Plenty of things to do over there, and it's completely membership driven. In a way to talk about that every day, we feature a member over there. Today it's Mr. Knives. So not a, I don't know. He must own some guns, I guess, or maybe not. But he's not a big shooter. But he's hanging out and enjoying the talk about firearms. He's in California, so it's not necessarily easy for him. But I think he contributes a lot. He's obviously become a big member of the Gun Channel's family. He's even got his own patch. So one of the reasons we built the place is for people that want to participate and be part of it, either on the creation end or the audience end. And he's an active audience and a participant in the hangout. So definitely the kind of person we built Gun Channels for.
Yep. And you know what? You probably just made his day, because Knives is a pretty good cat. And
Everybody
a little bit of acknowledgement is probably going to go a long way.
And I would be remiss if, when talking about Mr. Knives, I didn't say chocolate.
That's pretty good. That's
And
pretty
anyone
good.
who knows him will know that.
Yeah, no, that's
Don't
pretty
know
good.
Won't know what I'm talking about, but that's okay.
You know, I just cringe when you talk like that.
If you follow the lobby, you will definitely have heard the Mr. Knives impression just presented to you by Smeggy. So, everybody loves the turtle.
Oh, yeah, that's important to bring up. He is a Ninja Turtle, according to his avatar, so that's pretty cool.
Unfortunately, that Ninja Turtle is an overeater and has gained a substantial amount of weight. So,
Likes too much pizza.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about it. They live in a sewer and eat pizza all day. I mean, I'm kind of surprised they aren't all chubby.
well, to quote Fat Bastard, he ate because he was sad, and he was sad because he ate. So,
Yes. Excellent quote.
All right, well, now we're talking about shooting sports as entertainment. So we have an entertainment segment every Wednesday. We end up talking about movies a lot of times, and we try to bring other things into it. The shooting sports, obviously a lot of people like to compete and participate in the shooting sports, and then obviously there's a lot of spectators that appreciate the skills involved. But I think the shooting sports is just a entertainment thing. I mean, like NASCAR or something. You don't have to want to be a race car driver. You don't even have to have a fancy car, right? You can still appreciate the sport, I guess, of race car driving.
And it's like it's been around for a long time. Well, I don't want to say a long time, but it kind of has.
The NRA
long
started,
time, yeah.
Yeah, a long time. And marksmanship started at the end of the Civil War or the Revolutionary War or something, when the generals sat around saying our people suck at
I think
marksmanship.
it was Civil War. But yeah.
Time ago. So it's been around for a long time, and it's one of the things that we helped bring to the place. Recreational shooting, as a way to improve skill, but also just enjoy a type of recreation. So anyway, I think
took recreational shooter and turned it into a competition as well, where other recreational shooters are competing with other recreational shooters. Like it's awesome. It the sharing of it spreads.
Something like that Wick, right? This new movie where he got ready for his movie by shooting and learning some of the, I guess, going to skill building seminars or skill building type of training for competitive shooting, learning some of the techniques and stuff for accurate, fast shooting. And again, you don't have to really even know the rules or even care about the rules to enjoy watching people shoot in a dynamic environment like that, where you're running around and turning corners, and it's a pretty decent spectator sport. And I think it's going to end up, it already has, and it will continue to go a long way towards appealing to those people who are just interested in a new type of entertainment. I think another evidence of that would be stuff like Top Shot. I mean, that show lasted for many seasons, and it was strictly entertainment, really, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, right, but I was even going to try and think of naming just a bunch of the different shooting sports, whether we're talking core or, which is the revolver one, right? And then, there's steel challenge, there's 2-gun, there's 3-gun, there's skeet, there's trap, there's shooting clays, there's
SAS.
SAS, exactly. And by SAS, then there's also the Wild Bunch segment of that as well. So, like, there's
shooting, which is awesome when they run around shooting balloons off the back of a horse.
Can I ask you guys, just so, since you're naming all these different competitions and stuff, and I am familiar with most of them you just all mentioned, but what I'm not familiar with is where to watch that. I mean, I've seen 3-Gun Nation. Like, that was actually kind of like a production, and they followed like each competition and kind of showed who was leading, and they kept points and all that stuff. But other than that, like
A lot of that you're going to have to watch it in person. I mean, I know for out here, because we do have IPSC or USPSC or whatever it is.
USPSA.
And then we also have SAS out here. But like to watch it, it's not going to be on TV. Some people will post it on some of their YouTube channels and stuff like that to be able to watch it that way. But other than that, you need to be there as a spectator. Kind of like G-Webs was talking about NASCAR.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I mean, you can watch NASCAR anywhere, right? I mean, it's on Fox all the time, but it's like that's something I think has room to grow is some of the USPSA stuff or IDPA or any of those things, like you could almost film it like golf, right? Because golf, all the people are at like they're on different holes at the same time and they're all doing their thing, and then they just kind of keep showing highlights back and forth to keep track of who's in the lead or whatever.
Well, there are shows kind of like that. Like Shooting USA's one, where if all of a sudden it was the Bianchi Cup, and so they had their cameras there, and they'll do like a highlights of it like the next week or the week after, whatever the production schedule is. So like whether it's the the revolver one that Mikulik dominated for better part of a decade, or like you're talking about Three Gun coming out. So there are some shows on certain channels, so to speak, that will usually show highlights, not necessarily like the whole thing. But I bet locally there's going to be some that's like public access and stuff like that. I mean, especially if you're in a pro gun place, like you lucky few that are living, or should I actually? I'm probably the unlucky few. You guys are the lucky majority that you live in a place where your state has common sense to a degree, where stuff like that is encouraged, as opposed to hindered, where there's going to be some of that stuff that's on your public access television and stuff like that. Just saying.
Well, I guess I just haven't really seen it, and maybe I haven't.
Well, you know how it is,
hard, but
Smags. It's where it's knowing where to look. Sometimes is the whole thing.
I haven't seen public access TV since like the 70s and 80s.
Well, like for example, we still have public access here. It's like in the mid 50s range or whatever. I mean, it's still digital cable. It's just that's the channel slot that they take. So, because I'm not sure if by law they're required to or not. I don't remember how that works.
It used at first when cable first came out back in the 70s and 80s, because like I was alive and an adult back then, is they were allowed to have public access channels where if you literally wanted to go put on a show on your own and talk to the camera for 2 hours, you could.
Yes.
It might be at 2 o'clock in the morning, but you could go do it.
Right.
Now, I would think the internet would be a good place to find some of that stuff. Maybe like what you're talking about, the highlights or whatever. But
well, there are
I don't
people
see
that
it as
post that
often.
stuff on YouTube, man. Again, some channels are posting. Think about Foos, for example, one of our gun channels members. He posts when his runs.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I would like to see someone covering like the whole match, because I mean, look, Foos is a great example. Basically, when you do all 12 stages or whatever, he can compress that into like a 5-minute video or something, if that. So you know how easy it would be to show like everybody? It'd be, like
You know how much work that would be, though. Also, like that's going to take a team of people to do that. Like, but then again, that's like any live sports production. That's why that requires multiple cameras, multiple people doing the production, and then potentially
right. You'd have to have
untold hours of editing.
Yeah, and maybe there's just not a demand for it as much or something. But I guess maybe I'll encourage people out there, if you know of anything, let us know, because that's something I'm kind of curious in. I'd like to see it. Like I said, I picture like watching it like a golf tournament. Not that I watch golf, but how they just keep jumping. Oh, now we're going to so and so on stage 2, and then you watch the thing, and then they're like,
and we got
oh,
Smeggy. He's a little low on the leaderboard right now, but if he turns in a fast time, he'll climb the leaderboard.
Right.
Oh, exactly. Smeggy fell.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I would do horrible, but I'm just saying. So if anyone knows of something like that, whether it's produced after the fact and condensed down, or
Okay, I got another one
live
for you,
streaming
Smegs. Are you on
somewhere.
Facebook?
I don't really use Facebook that much.
Okay, well, just so you know, when they did the U.S. Shotgun Championships, I think it was last month or the month before, whatever it was, they live streamed it. Like, because I was a member or follower or however it is on Facebook, right? They told me that they were going to live stream, and literally, I was able to just turn it on or whatever, and I got to watch basically the camera was just there, live feeding the whole thing. It was kind of cool. And that's just for shotgun sports or whatever. So there's definite potential there, and like we were saying, you might need to know where to look, because I bet that there are people out there that whether they're YouTube or Facebook live streaming or whatever, there's going to be some of that material out there for sure.
Yeah. Now, do you think that's something? I mean, that a TV show might pick up, or we just don't even worry about trying to get to the masses?
It's only been growing, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a what do you want to call it? Maybe a 20-year span there where it kind of retracted. But I would say for the past 10 years, well, maybe what was 2004? Okay, so like 13 years or so, 12, 13 years, that it has been able to start expanding again. Like the ice sheet, it shrinks and it expands and stuff like that. So, because you got to understand, before, like all the way up until like the 70s or so, think about all the exhibition shooters and stuff like that that were literally traveling around the country and around the world, and you would see them in like the newsreel footage on a movie. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was black and white or color and stuff like that. So like that kind of stuff's been going on for a long time. It's just that we, in our lifetimes, we hit a patch there where, you're a bad person and this, that, and the other thing and all that other baloney they try and throw at us, So now it's getting to the point where it's more common usage. People understand that you're not a monster, and that recreational shooting can be absolutely fantastic. It can be character building. You learn discipline and all that other kind of stuff. Let alone the, there's no participation trophies in that stuff either. You got to win to win, which is one thing that I really like, because I like winning.
Well, I guess I'll hold out hope that maybe, there'll be some type of production company that's willing to take it on. Like I said, I know that they have done some stuff on like, the Outdoor Channel or something, but I don't get that channel.
I mean, honestly, that is almost all we got these days. You're right on that.
Could you not? There's a million sports things. Could you not see it on like ESPN 7 or something? I mean, they got a bunch of them, right?
And that's the thing. Like Shooting USA actually used to be on ESPN back in the day. You can watch Jim Scouting. I think you can YouTube them, stuff like that. But then advertisers started to get pulled and stuff like that, and then that's when they had to change. So,
yeah, see, I think that's the problem, is a perceived like political correctness type of thing. I mean, look at we talked about that the other day on some chat. Whose chat was that? But the Olympics is trying to get away from projectiles.
Oh, dude, that was your chat.
Was it? Yeah, I knew it was something awesome.
Because I piped right up with Olympics. We're talking biathlon. We're talking pistols. We're talking rifles. We're talking shotguns. You're talking Olympics summer and winter. You actually have shooting sports. Right. And this last one that we did have, we had ladies dominating some gold medals. It was awesome.
Yeah, the shotgun shooter. But anyway, so that was like, why are they doing that? It's like some perceived like, well, we'll get better ratings if we get rid of the scary projectiles and they shoot laser guns.
To watch, like you're talking, Smags, how they had 1 million channels for the Olympics or whatever. You had to watch it at the replay of it at 3 a.m. on the Sci-Fi Channel or something like that, because it was one of the NBC networks. Like, they do try and kind of hide that stuff. which sucks.
Angry saying that I'm subtle, but I don't think I was being subtle. I just am forgetful. I honestly didn't remember where I was talking about that.
You mean hit or miss? Tuesday
Yeah,
nights,
9
9
o'clock.
Eastern?
But yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I think it'd be cool to see it more.
And Alabama Ballistics out there on the YouTube side says, I always say it wrong. It's Panteo
Antio.
Productions does the 90-minute video on IDPA. They talk to several shooters and show their runs through the 12 stages. So,
is that a YouTube type thing or something, or where can I find that?
I would Google.
Google Food to the rescue. All right, because that sounds cool. So thank you there, buddy.
The producing company, like a what do you call that?
They do their video production or whatever.
Yeah, they're like a production house, and then so they do some YouTube stuff to promote it, but they also have they're on their website. They provide streaming as well, so it might be something that's available on their website, or maybe on their YouTube channel as like a promo for their service. But they sell DVDs and then an online subscription service too with the content of the DVDs, and they have access to some of the best instructors out there, and they're definitely high-end production work. So it's ultimate quality video of excellent, like world-class level instruction. So definitely worth checking it out. And if they've got something on IDPA, I suspect it's going to be valid. It's going to be worthwhile.
I'm seeing a lot of stuff from a few years ago. IDPA World Championship 2011, but it's a almost 2-hour long video. So
yeah, that's the whole
cool.
deal.
That's got to be like just about all the important stuff.
All right. Well, we've been talking about the shooting sports as entertainment, and I think the one thing that we'll move on just for the sake of time in the show or whatever, but we can address it again. I think the one thing that everyone can take home from this, we can all agree, is that IDPA is better than IPSC. So we'll move on to the gun of the day.
I'm sure that'll be an arguable point in the future.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody can agree on that.
I mean, like IDPA better.
I'm sure we can all agree on it.
I'm sure we can all say it, but I don't know if we can all agree it.
So we'll move on to the gun of the day, and today it's the 4-barrel Cop Derringer. One of my favorite guns from all time. I don't know why. It's just a neat gun. I did a quick video here, a 1.5-minute video a long time ago on it, and I think they're great. They're made by an off-duty cop. Well, let's see. They were made by a cop back in the 80s as like their off-duty gun. It's you can kind of tell by looking at it how dense it is. It's just such a neat experience to pick up because it's so solid and small and fun to shoot. And not obtainable. They're really expensive now, but anyway, just a neat little gun. 4 barrels. Obviously, they shoot one at a time. Otherwise, it would be a machine gun. And super heavy, kind of impractical, having only 4 shots. The trigger isn't necessarily great. It's not good or anything, but it's not horrible, but it's definitely not great. And,
have you shot one of those?
Oh yeah, tons of times. I know people that own them, and whenever I get a chance, I like to take one out.
Because in 357, it seems like it'd be rather punishing with a metal frame against your hand like this.
It's deceiving. It looks little, so it looks like it might be the size or the weight of a revolver, but I don't know what they do to make it.
It's probably heavier than a what's the Ruger one, the LC9 or whatever. It's probably bigger than that, wouldn't you say, and weighs more?
Yeah, it's heavier and denser than anything else you've ever picked up. So it's going to manage some of the recoil, but then that also lends to it not being all that light in your pocket either. So anyway, it's an interesting gun. Remember, it was made back in the 80s, so its competition back then was just little J-frames and stuff. I think I have a picture here or a video here of us shooting it. But yeah, fun little gun to shoot. If you ever have a chance to shoot one, if you see somebody at a range was shooting one, unless there's some kind of jerk, most of the time people are happy to, talk about their gun, especially a unique gun like that. It's possible that somebody's going to bring it to the range, to not show it off, but it's like a Corvette or something. You're sitting there in the parking lot next to it because you want to talk about it. So if you're at the range and the guy's shooting it and letting everybody see it, then if you want to walk over there and see if the person's approachable, see if it's okay to shoot a couple of rounds. It's worth the experience. And more accurate than you might expect. Everybody thinks it's going to be not accurate because the 4 barrels, aren't in line or whatever with the sights, but at least at the distances we normally shoot, it's plenty accurate. And I don't know if we'll see it in this video so much. I don't know if I was pausing things back then, but it does tend to give you a ring when you shoot it. That 357 powder doesn't have a chance to burn all the way, so it's pretty consistent at giving you a big fire ring as you shoot it, and it's pretty easy to get that on film.
Nice. Is it an ejector or an extractor?
Neither. You just pull them out the back yourself.
Okay, so it won't even lift up the case at all?
I don't think so. We'll see in a second here if we I think we just seen it.
Ever since I saw one of those, I wanted one of those.
But you see it, I don't think it even ejects anything. They just kind of fall out. It's got big chambers. It's a Derringer, so it doesn't need to cycle or anything. So they just make the chambers a little bit bigger.
Well, even if it just picked up the rim a little bit, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear you. I suppose you're not going for a super fast reload on that anyway. More
I
than
just
likely.
remember shooting the double tap, and because it's a metal back strap, it really hits your hand hard.
In my
Well,
my understanding is it's way bigger than one of them double taps, though.
This dude isn't a young guy, so let's get the reaction from this guy. I think you hear him.
Whoa!
So that gives you some idea. I don't
That's
remember.
the kind of person you want to take to the range, by the way. That just makes it all
This is one of the range
puppies and sunshine right there.
He's a range safety officer out there. That's when I was working out there, so everybody got to we always let we got to shoot each other's stuff. So anyway, that was a fun gun shoot. He's an old guy, so he's probably a little bit more tender in the hands than I can remember it being. But it's not as bad as a J frame. It's not as bad as J frame, but it isn't. You wouldn't give it to a kid either. All right, well, that's our gun of the day. We try to hit a new gun every day. If you got an idea for one or suggestion, since Bob, basically has dropped the ball on this, we're showing videos from our old gun videos from the channel. But if you have some suggestions, people have suggested them, and usually people suggest interesting ones that we've never heard of. So you can always email us, dailygunshow@gmail.com. Oh, you're saying later today, I know. Okay, you got the gun shop of the day then today, Heavy?
Yeah, I do. It's
Okay.
one I go to on a regular basis. It's called Bullseye Sport. It's in Riverside, California. It's actually where I bought my Glock 23. It was a used gun. They got decent prices for being out here in California. Their ammo selection is maybe a little lacking, but they have a good premium ammunition selection, and they do carry a lot of accessories. And just a little shout out to them. That's Bullseye Sport in Riverside, California.
Right on. I got to assume when you've got a lot of gun shops in the area, like the competition to that shop, that you specialize, right? You're not going to try to do everything because there's somebody not too far away who's going to be able to concentrate on that probably better. So,
No. They're every one of them out here pretty much tries to cover everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they are all over the place. Like we've got Highland Guns, we've got Evolution Sports, we've got Center Fire, we've got our box store Turners, which is a local California, Arizona thing, or it used to be Arizona. I don't know anymore. So yeah, I mean there are a ton of firearm stores in the Inland Empire in which I live. So, but I like Bullseye. The people there are pretty cool, and they got okay prices. They're right around. They're a little bit more expensive than like a big box store, but I like going to smaller brick and mortars, just trying to help them out.
Now, are they just a gun store, or do they have a range also?
No, it's just a gun store. There's not too many indoor. There's not too many indoor ranges out here. We got mag range out here. Got another local one over here called Dave's Gun and Archery, but that's about it. All the rest are just gun stores.
Right on. Well, we try to feature a shop every day. Since we had you guys on, I figured we'd let you guys participate in that. So with
Appreciate
that, we can move on to movie of the day. So every day we like to talk about a movie, something related to guns, something that you might not have seen in a while to remind you of something to watch, or if you're a youngin', something you ain't seen yet. Today we're talking about, well, not one of the best, but one of the gooder Seagal movies, right? Marked for Death.
Oh yeah.
It definitely has better gun porn than most of them.
Is this the second one?
The third
think
one, I believe.
so.
No, it wasn't the second thing.
I'm thinking it was third.
Yeah, it was third because it was like Above the Law, Hard to Kill, and then Marked for Death. Yeah.
Marked for Death, okay. So, and is this the one with the Rastafarians and shit?
Screwface.
Yes, I believe
That
so.
would be an affirmative.
The Jamaican Posse.
Because Hard to Kill was the Kelly LeBrock, and you can take that to the bank. And Above the Law was that Richie? Have you seen Richie?
No, that was Out for Justice, I think.
Also,
Oh, nice.
because that was first when he started showing like a whole new thing, and everybody's see it's not so good now because these kids don't understand what it's like when there was nothing, and then there was like kung fu movies or whatever, and karate movies in the 70s, and Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee, I guess. But then there was like nothing for a long time, and then all of a sudden there was breaking freaking arms on screen, and being a cop who had kung fu and stuff like that was a little bit different. And then I thought he was pretty cool back then. Like it was him, and then what's his name, who was not so good. Goddamn Van Damme.
Yeah, well, I will have to say my favorite Steven Seagal movie is Executive Decision.
Because he gets sucked out of the plane.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he dies right off the bat.
I don't see.
Ooh.
So this one is pretty good. It's not his best one. I don't know if I'm going to give it 1 thumbs up because it probably doesn't stand up anymore, and I can understand it not being as good as like Wick or something. But it's definitely one of the better Seagal ones. I mean, I'll recognize Seagal did some bad ones, and this was not one of the bad ones yet.
Well, a lot of people give me crap for saying that whole Executive Decision thing, but you got to remember he was a fairly big star at the time. People thought he had a huge ego, but yet he was willing to take a role where he died right off the bat. So,
well, you spoil it for everybody, but yeah, it was mind blowing watching that movie because you did not expect that to happen. That was
yeah.
And I give him a ton of credit. I thought that was, like you say, that shows character that he's willing to be that guy. Because this is not the days of the internet where you knew what was going on before you went to that movie. You went to that movie and you're like, oh shit, Seagal's in this movie, and then you're like, oh shit, Seagal just got sucked out of the freaking plane. What the hell happened? Yeah.
How is he supposed to save the day when he ain't got a parachute, man?
Wait a minute, he didn't have a parachute on. What happened?
Exactly. No, that's it. Oh, snap.
So yeah, I don't know what the story is behind that. Maybe somebody does. Maybe there's something to it, but I just thought it was a cool move. But anyway, we're talking about this one. This is like some dumb, but he's a Chicago
Marked
cop.
for Death. It's drugs. It's the Jamaican mafia or whatever.
Come up with the Jamaican mafia. Like, I don't know. Was this a time when they were like, it wouldn't be politically correct. Well, they didn't call it that, but it wouldn't be like prudent to do the commies or something, like, or it wasn't, because for a while
No,
there,
it was a thing. You think about it, back in New York at that time or whatever, it was a thing. It's still kind of a thing.
I don't think Chicago ever had a scourge of Jamaican.
I don't think it was Chicago that time. Is it?
Chicago, John Hatcher returns from Colombia. And his family live in Chicago. He's always in Chicago.
Yeah, it's true.
But anyhow, it was pretty decent. It wasn't the best. That's why I'm only giving it 1. What do you guys give?
Out of the first 3, it's number 3 in my opinion, because I like Above the Law and Hard to Kill more than I like Marked for Death.
I would say Above the Law was like his breakthrough, obviously.
Dude, all of a sudden you see him throwing people around and breaking bones and stuff. You're like, you can do that?
It was his first big movie. Then, yeah, that one stands out. But I think the whole Marked for Death thing was during the whole big crack epidemic. So, they jumped on the bandwagon on that.
Well, that's kind of true, actually.
And I never saw it, so I don't have an opinion.
How many thumbs can I give? 4 or 5? Because that's
How many thumbs you got?
I do just want to point out one thing. Jimmy probably could possibly have worse taste in movies than Matt. So just throwing that out there.
Wait a minute now. Hold on a second there. I don't like.
I'm giving him
like
shit.
you saying that he's got a bad taste in movies. I won't
Oh, I'm
stand for
sorry.
it. Won't
Did
stand
I
for
hurt
it.
your feelers? Are you offended? Do you need a safety pin?
No.
I already got one. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Right
Actually.
on. Okay, cool. Jimmy
I have a
knows I'm
set.
fucking with him. Pardon my language.
No, you can't. Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, Steven Seagal is like, yeah, my hero. I love every Steven Seagal movie.
Pattern your life after him. How many times have you banged a maid?
Top 10
I'm just
Steven
saying.
Seagal special bonus top 10.
Dano just left, didn't he?
Yeah, he's gone.
All right. Well, that was our movie today. Like I say, we try to remind people of movies you haven't seen in a while. I think this one class counts as that, and remind the kids, or I guess tell the kids about movies.
And there's a decent twist in that movie that we didn't give away. There's a decent twist in that one. You don't really see it coming.
I'm going to quick throw out the healthy tip. Every day we try to remind everybody that the most important part of the gun is the part that pulls the trigger. If you can't get that gun where it needs to be ultimately, then you're just collecting items. You're not doing anything. So one of the ways to be healthy is to drink more water. I think that one's fairly obvious, but a lot of people like to drink Mountain Dew all the time. Don't drink water ever. But,
Well, Smeggy likes to drink Fago. That's the stuff.
water is the lubricant, the frog lube or the gun grease or whatever it is that you prefer for the human body. So probably a good idea to drink as much of it as you can.
With that note, I'm going to take a nice big sip of my Fago Moon Mist Blue.
Wait a minute. What is that? I've had Moon Mist, but I've never had Moon Mist Blue.
This is all going down during the healthy moment of the day or something?
I'm just saying. Don't tell me what to do. You're not my real mom.
Hey, how do you know?
No comment.
No, but as for the water thing, yeah, hydration is the key. I drink at least a gallon of water a day, so.
Ugh.
This can't be real.
This
can't be real.
Good for you. So then that'll take us to. Do we have anything else? I guess the tactical quiz.
Yeah, we still got to do the tactical quiz, but I think we hit all the other stuff. Like all the daily stuff we hit.
We thought we forgot about it, but we didn't. We were just waiting for Dano because he gets all embarrassed when we do the actual tactical quiz right on top of his pop quiz. Gotta wait for the good part to come in. This when the motorbike comes up with a wheelie right here. Riding its wheelie still. Riding its wheelie. You're in awe. Oh, he dropped his wheelie and shot a missile out of there. So you waited too long.
Because that's what you do.
Okay. So actually, I have a couple other things to do here too, but we're going to start the tactical quiz. So it's a visual tactical quiz today. So it's for the people that are watching live. If you're listening to this as a podcast in the future, feel free to jump over to the video over on YouTube and you can watch what happened, but you're going to hear what happens right now. And this will be an opportunity for the people that are watching live to win fabulous prizes. So it's going to be a visual tactical pop quiz. I'm going to get the screen ready here, and then we're going to show you, I believe, 3 photographs, and you will identify the movie that they came from, and then those 3 winners will compete in a 4th photograph, and that will be our winner for the tactical quiz this week. I think you guys should know what they are, but in case you don't, doesn't matter because the rest of us will. You guys are helping to watch the chats on both sides?
Sure.
All right.
So I'm watching gun channels. I'm not on YouTube at the current moment, but
I got both.
Boom. First one. What movie is this photograph from? What movie?
Most practical use of tape ever.
I know. Can I answer?
No.
No.
You can't. You're on the panel.
Damn it.
Delta Force? No.
Well, they had that up ahead of time. Park is Mine is correct.
Boom.
Technically, it's the Park is Mine, but we'll give it to you, Angry American.
You just claimed all the parks, but that's fine. So that's Angry is number 1. Ready for number 2?
Yes.
Drum rolls, but we don't have drum roll people anywhere. So boom, number 2. What movie is this still image from? What movie is this still image from? I guess
Is that a 1911 in his hand?
I'm actually regretting being on the panel today.
What?
Oh, I
Oh,
want to
right.
answer so bad.
Does that look a little dusty in the background? There we go. Ponery in the house.
Okay, so we did get an answer.
Yep. Ponery.
So now we got Angry and Sean. So it's going to be epic battle of these two, and then the third person is going to be able to correctly identify. Oops, that picture.
What?
That one's tougher, isn't it? You don't know what it is.
I know what it is.
I do.
Oh, I want to answer so bad.
YouTube has fallen down. I don't know if they're okay over there.
YouTube usually isn't even in it to win it.
Yeah, YouTube just
Oh,
like
there we
sit there
go.
and-
We got it. Moby won. Oh well, yeah. I'll it's misspelled, but I know what he was talking about. So
And that
Moby
is-
won.
And it is.
Ghost in the Darkness.
That's right. So I guess we should have said the first one was Park is Mine.
Park is Mine, yeah. Last Man Standing and Ghost in the Darkness.
And now we will.
You're our only hope.
Now only those three are able to participate in this final.
So that is Moby, that is Sean Ponery, and that is Angry American.
Boom.
Nice.
Did they answer yet?
No, but that was awesome.
This makes it look like he's running towards you.
Nice.
Du-du-dun, du-du-dun-dun.
Oh, Ponery. He gave the alternate title, but I think we'll give it to him, don't you, G?
No, because it says it right here. You should actually have the American U.S. title because we don't care what the European title is. No one's ever acknowledged the European title being the title.
Well, hey, Sean, if you feel like it, Sean, put in the other title before the other person, and you'll still win.
Maybe. Or the other
Oh
people.
man, God.
I mean, I can't believe you're doing this to him, G.
The
You
visual quiz.
I'm not going to take no European answer. Where would a precedent ever been set that I'm going to take a European answer? So the YouTube site is saying that they're chopped liver. No, if you were chopped liver, we wouldn't be.
You had to answer the question before the other people diecaster. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's all. You just had to step up your game, and you do
Bam.
have a lag. That's your problem. Final option. There we're talking.
Yes, he got it. Thank you, Mr. Ponery.
All right.
And can I say, if you were paying attention to the movies of the day, this
What?
quiz would have been fairly easy.
Are you telling me this was
What?
the last 5 movies of the day?
It might have been, actually.
I'm
All I
saying
gotta
they certainly
say-
are very familiar.
All I got to say is to the YouTube people, I really like chopped liver, and two, I was really rooting for Moby 1.
I was too. But you know what, Ponery? He does what he does. He wins. That's what the boy
Somebody
do.
needs to like blind him, or at least like cover half his screen and white.
Man, haters gonna hate, but winner's gonna win. You know.
Hey, all I'm just saying is like he's got Google Foo like nobody else. It's like picking on a retard. You don't want to do that. So it's like maybe
Well, see,
tie his
the
hands behind his
problem
back.
is with this later time slot, he's not stuck at work. So you can't hope for a distraction where he's not by his computer.
Or the phone rings and he can't technically listen while the phone's ringing or something. That's exactly
'cause
what
that
it is.
used to be why he'd miss out before, is he was stuck at work. So y'all got to step up your game.
So what we need to do is find somebody in Houston to like set off like MRE heater bombs on his front patio, and we're doing the tactical quiz.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I certainly would send him a
They
pizza.
don't hurt nobody. They don't hurt nobody. It just goes boom. Good luck.
And
How
then
about
it
you
lights
just-
the dry brush on fire, and then it burns his house down. That's great.
Yeah, I think
Dude, just
It's
an
a
EMP
water
would be fine.
heater.
send him a pizza with express directions to deliver it, right when the tactical quiz starts.
Like with anchovies and something else nasty smelling. Like, I didn't order this. So excellent win in the see exactly, Ponery. Win shaming.
Of course.
They can't win, so they gotta cheat, bro. Keep
Haters
winning.
gonna hate.
Keep winning, bro. Keep winning. That's what I like.
I'm just
Speaking
like,
of winner.
bitch, I operate.
Winning feels good.
Speaking of winners, we want to thank our Patreon supporters. We have quite a few Patreon supporters that keep the show running, keep the lights on, keep us able to do what we're doing here every day. And to say thanks, we switched it over to monthly billing this month. But to say thanks, we've got a couple of levels over there that you can participate in. And those levels, well, the $3 level puts you in the running for a random patch giveaway. We've got 6 people who are eligible this month for it, so I figured I would go over to therandom.org and pick that person live right now.
So this will be for February's patch?
Correct.
And then there is a level where you're guaranteed a patch every month also, correct?
Yeah, this is nobody participated in it last month, but next month, well, I guess after actually.
Well, maybe they will once they see the new scheme over there at, the new pricing levels.
Schema. It's not so much a scheme as a schema or whatever.
Okay.
So what is it? I said 6 people.
You said 6 people. Yep.
So boom, number 2. Should I go from the top? Not Smeggy. Should I go from the top or from the bottom?
Top.
I'd say the bottom. The bottom.
Should we? Well, it was already said from the top. Otherwise, if they would have said from the bottom, Smeggy would have won this patch right now.
Oh man!
Sorry, Smegs.
I tried
so much. Z.
I tried to help you.
It keeps me warm.
By any chance, Jared is watching right now. You are the winner, and if you happen to be watching, I think I'm sharing my screen. Oh, I'm sharing my screen, but I'm not showing the picture. That's the choices this month. Next month, we're starting the monthly billing. We'll have the same concept. We'll have the $1 level where you're welcome to participate in any of the stuff that we do for our Patreon supporters, which include our scheduling show and some of the other additional shows that we'll do on the weekend sometimes, basically to prep the show or to strategize. And we like to get inspiration and then some direction from our viewers. So you're welcome to, at the $1 level, to jump in there. That's $1 a month. And then at the $3 a month, which is the other level that you can participate in, maybe should we change that to $4 a month? Whatever, some $3 a month level, whatever we come up with. You'll be in the drawing for a random patch each month, and there'll be a patch panel of unique patches. You can see here we've got a radioactive, or I guess the zombie Bob, the radioactive Flippy. I think we got a knives patch on there. We talked about knives earlier. That's his icon right there. We've got the Daily Gun Show logos themselves. This is Z's patch right there. I will be putting, we have to come up with a Dano patch. The dog one just was not working. But we'll
should go back to his old one where it's the compensated Glock shooting the flame out of it.
I thought you already had one. I thought that's what the Despop one was.
No. Moon invented that one.
Yeah, Moon just drew up that patch as a moral patch.
And what is that, a Freedom Rings as well in there?
Where?
Next to Matt's?
Oh, yeah. In the thing here? Yeah, that's also from Moon, Freedom Rings. This one here is the Despop. Oh, I didn't even realize we had one on there. Yeah, that's I'm going to replace that with a blue one. That's Moon's design, though. This is another one of Moon's designs.
And I see there's an AK-April patch. AK-April's coming up pretty soon here.
Yep.
So if you want to get last year's AK-April patch, that'd be a cool way to get it.
And if you're American, we could just call it AR Pro.
No, it doesn't sound good.
Well, I was just hoping to get one of them AK-47 patches. I heard they are the coolest.
None of that sounds natural. So is Jared out there? I don't think we're seeing anything.
I have not seen that he is.
Okay, so we'll contact him through the Patreon then. And again, we want to thank everyone who supports us. It is bringing in some significant scratch, and that is allowing us not only to keep the lights on, but then to put some more additional efforts into the show. And it's awesome. We really do appreciate it, and it's allowing us to do the show the way we're doing it, where we don't have to be beholden to anyone except for y'all.
Now, can I ask for the people that do like the guaranteed patch? That's of your picking, right? Like you just pick one and send it to them. Is that how that works, or do you do it like some of your prototype ones or something, or like what do they get if it's the guaranteed patch level?
It doesn't matter to me. So we had been doing it with just the one Patreon account, and over on gun websites. And when I was doing it there, I was making up a special patch for everybody each month. But we had only like 5 or 4 people doing that. So I would do like a really long, a really elaborate patch. Now I can't do that anymore mainly because I don't have the time anymore. So I don't care. We can do it one way. We can do it either way. So we can do a unique patch, or I can do a patch panel with a bunch of options, and it'll be a separate patch panel like this than the one we do for the daily patch giveaway, or excuse me, for the pop quiz. So maybe not this Saturday, but next Saturday when we get together to do another scheduling session, we'll decide. So right now we'll set it up so that the Patreon is monthly, and there'll be a section for people who want to just participate at $1. Then there'll be a level of people who want to participate with a chance to win a patch, and then there'll be a third level where if you'll be guaranteed a patch, and then we'll either let the people that pick that level give us some feedback and just do whatever they want, or we'll just see what the consensus is throughout the month. But unless it matters to anyone, I actually we could probably do it either way. We could say there's a default patch unless you'd like to pick one from the panel. Really, there's no rules here, so we'll set up the rules as we go, and whatever the preference is for the people that are participating in it.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Give them a chance to specify what they want, because I was just curious how that worked. I was thinking of bumping mine up from random to guaranteed, because I have bad luck, as just demonstrated. I was so close yet so far away.
Well, I think with that, we're at the end of episode 258, right? The beginning of March 2017. Do we have a history today? No. So we will be going into tomorrow is Every Second Matters. Somebody want to talk about what's on Gun Channel? Well, let's make Jimmy do Gun Channels tomorrow, since he's half of it.
All right. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday the 2nd. So let me see. Yankees not going to be on tomorrow. The early watch tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. We'll be on doing a little special Every Second Matters show. What else is going on tomorrow? I know you guys are on Daily Gun Show, 7 p.m. Eastern.
AK-47 Guru Chat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, AK-47. Yeah.
Tens of thousands of our fellow Arizonans about President Trump's joint address to Congress, and to answer any policy questions that you might have.
This is Jack Flake,
If you'd like
my
to participate in tonight's
congressional
telephone
rep.
town hall, please just stay on the line. Momentarily, you'll be automatically connected to the call, at which time you'll have the opportunity to ask me a question. Now, before the town hall gets started, I'd like to remind you about my weekly e-newsletter called the Roundup Report.
I just wanted to break in. I just got that phone call from my Senator Flake, who I guess is doing a town hall this morning. Has anybody ever gotten a phone call like that from somebody before? Sorry to interrupt you there, but that happened live.
No, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, that's happened before.
Oh, okay. I've never had that happen before. Maybe I've never answered the call. But I think that sounded like I would just stay on the call and I'd be part of it. That's interesting. Like everyone's being called right now because it's starting.
Well, that sounds like you should stay on the call. Ask him some gun questions.
I probably should have. Hey, just to interrupt you. More importantly, what's going on in Gun Show?
Well, I think that covers tomorrow, but tonight there'll be Matt's chat in like an hour to an hour and a half, something like that. And is We Like Shooting on tonight? They're double tap. I think they do those on Wednesdays now.
I don't know what day they do that one on, but yeah, they might.
I think it's Wednesdays. I don't see it set up on YouTube yet, but it's either Wednesdays or Thursdays. So, anyways, if you like We Like Shooting, their second episode of the week, Double Tap, is, it's a little more laid back, and they I know they like make fun of YouTube videos and stuff, and make fun of each other a little more. Oh yeah, here it is on the list. So it's scheduled for 59 minutes from now.
Okay. So
I'd like to end the show with a quote.
I think that's all we have left. So we'll end episode 258. See you back here same time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific tomorrow for episode 259. We're talking about guns in the home, training gear, and what's going on in the shooting world.
We'd definitely like to thank everybody that participated in the show today, both live and in the future. Definitely want to thank all of our Patreon supporters. Anybody that has questions or comments, show notes, that kind of stuff, you can definitely send that to dailygunshow@gmail.com. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as we like to end the day, with a quote. We have one here from Sigmund Freud. Most people do not really want freedom because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. So again, thank you to everybody, and aloha.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.